Hi, I'm Paul from Test Data Services, and I'm going to step through several of the data tagging API endpoints now, which can simplify the automation of your tests in relation to data. Basically, it allows you to run what I would call a dataless test. So the first thing we do is in this Postman Collection, which you can download and run, is just check that I've got lots of subscription availability. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use that subscription key, which is the public one accessible from the homepage of my website, testdataservices.com.au, and it starts with DNQ. That is rate limited, but it will work for all these transactions. If I use this call here, add subscription key, I'll get a brand new subscription key. And if I do the next request, I'll get another. I'm calling one of them A and the other B. Now I'm going to save a variable. The variable I'm saving, I'm using the subscription key A to do the save, and I'm saving a key value pair. The key in this case is ENVAG8, and the value is E76 and so on. So what I'm doing here is I'm saving a value so that other test scripts could then use that. Now this particular call to save value works at a subscription level, not the key level. So if I now attempt to retrieve that value by passing in subscription A, that first one we just created, with the label, which is that ENVAGB it is, so I think I said 8 before, we get the tag value that was saved, which is this E763. If I now do the same thing but with subscription B, I can see that I get the same value back, which is good. Now that means that you can have a central place in part of your CI/CD process that sets up some key values, and then each of the scripts can read those key values and do appropriate things from there. So you don't have to store anything in your scripts. You can just use this as a key pair repository. Next thing I'm doing in this collection is I'm getting a random identity, random 1, 2, 3. So I'm fetching 3 of them. Now I'm going to save these user IDs. Often when we're running a test, we will want to grab a random identity and then do something with it, like create an account and then log in with that account. So I've got these 3 IDs. The first one, its UID is A1. So now I'm going to save that, and I'm giving it a user ID of A1 for the sake of this, and then I'm going to do A2 and A3. So now I'm saving all 3 of these user IDs. Now that they're saved, I've got 3 of them, all against subscription key A. If I use this call to get saved user ID, it will randomly fetch any of those 3. So in this case, it got the third one, A3. If I do it again, A3 again, A3, A2, A1, A3, A1, A1, A3. It's just random. Now I'm going to get another one for the sake of completion. So that's randomly fetching. That's very useful. What's also useful is to pop them in sequence. So if I do this first one, A1 is the first one I've popped, and this is with the call pop saved user ID. Second one is A2. Third one is A3. Now I've only got 3. If I try and pop another, it should say that there's nothing there, which is what it's doing. Next, I can recycle them. So I've had 3 user IDs. I can randomly access them at any time, but now I can actually, and I can pop them in sequence, but if I've used them all up, I can recycle them so that now I can pop them all over again. So this is very useful if you need to cycle through all of the users that you've created, or if you want to randomly access them, you can do it in a combination. So now I'm going to get another random person. I'm calling this one B1. I'm going to save B1, and this time I'm saving B1 against subscription key B. Now if I pop that identity, I'm getting B1. If I recycle, it'll tell you how many. It says there's 1 user ID, which is correct. And now when I'm done, I don't need to do this step, but if I want to, I can say remove subscription key. Now if I've created a subscription key, I can also remove it. but you have to use the key that you created it with to do the remove. So if I do that, record's deleted. Now the moment that's done, I then no longer have access to anything that made use of that key. So they're gone forever. And I can do this one as well. So what I've showed you in this short video is some of the API calls to manage global key value pairs across a whole subscription, and then work with user IDs in particular and some data value that's attached to those user IDs. The user IDs are keyed by subscription key, which we can create as many as we like, and the UID of the identity. So the other videos in this series show you how to work with those identities and how to do other things, whether it's email, OpenID Connect, MFA tokens, or whatever. So you can look at those other videos as well. Hope you find this a useful building block. At the end of this series, I'll put all of these together to give you a working example of how to leverage all of these different calls. All the best with your test automation.